Chapter 28. The human lab greeted Robin with the stench of acrid chemicals, neatly filling hundreds of glass containers. Their orderliness, a thin guise for the horrors they contained. As her eyes adjusted to the harsh lighting, professional curiosity drew her closer to the specimens. Each container held its own cruel story. The preserved brains floated in varying solutions that cast sickly halos under the fluorescent glare. She moved from sample to sample, her trained observer's eye noting surgical alterations and unexplainable anomalies that suggested experiments beyond ethical boundaries. At a stainless steel table lined with more specimens, she worked her way down the row until movement reflected in the glass stopped her heart. Larry's massive form materializing on the other side, his hands already reaching. Her gasp preceded her shot. The container exploded, preservative fluid arcing through the air like toxic rain. Its contents slid dripping wet across the metal surface before hitting the floor with a heavy splat, a sound she'd never forget. From his domain in the control center, Wachtell watched the scene unfold on multiple monitors, his manicured fingers trembling with rage. "Guns are not allowed here." He jabbed a button, screaming into the microphone. "Larry, return to the control center now." Robin tracked Larry's exit toward the cell area, her hands still shaking as she followed. While doing so, some of the preserved specimens bubbled as she passed them, mystifying her. Wachtell's fury found release in a red switch that seemed designed for catastrophe. "I hope the lady likes surprises." The cell area filled with the sound of metal on metal as doors slid open with hydraulic precision. Prisoners emerged cautiously, stepping into their sudden freedom, movement suggesting both physical and psychological damage. Some crawled, others stalked, all driven by artificially enhanced rage that had stripped away their humanity. Larry's progress through the corridor ended abruptly as the teenage prisoner crashed into him with feral intensity. The counterpunch sent the boy sprawling, but a middle-aged man with a huge belly seized the opportunity to launch onto Larry's back and bite into his neck. Larry's cry echoed off the bars and walls as he slammed backward, dislodging his attacker only to have both the man and the teenager grab his legs. They dragged him into an expanding pool of violence as more freed prisoners joined the vicious riot, their inhuman strength turning the corridor into a nightmare of flying bodies and splattered blood. The screams up ahead stopped Pete in his tracks. His careful navigation past open cells ended when Martha's iron grip yanked him inside her lair. He crashed into the coffee table, shattering it, and clutched his side, groaning in pain. Her approach was methodical to corral him in a corner. Pete rolled the TV between them, earning a hiss before she shoved it aside, backing him against the wall. His right cross split her lower lip, and blood oozed from it, but she barely registered the blow. His kick to her gut bought inches of space but quickly erased by her groin strike that doubled him over. She grabbed his head, holding it close. "Martha, I want to free you," he pleaded. Her hideous face lowered to his, bloody lips brushing his cheek in a grotesque caress. Pete quivered as her mouth opened, uncertain if she meant to kiss or kill. Rage ignited in her eyes as her jaws parted wider, but the sound that followed was the moist slice of Pete's shiv entering her stomach. A second thrust followed before her grip loosened, and she collapsed before the TV, its glow illuminating her blood-soaked housecoat as liquid gurgles marked her final breaths. Pete knelt beside her, tearing cloth from her body. In the human lab, Robin faced her own horror as the big-bellied man charged from the darkness. Her shot caught him in the forehead, and he fell dead. Stunned, she was slow to react to the teenager who ran at her and slammed into her as she fired. The gun skittered away as the teen stumbled to his knees, but he was quickly back up, pursuing Robin among the tables and shelves of human brains. Robin toppled liquid-filled containers to slow her attacker's advance. He kicked the slimy brains aside. Blood soaked through his shirt. He was losing strength as he slowly backed her into a wall. The shelving unit offered her an escape. She climbed onto a higher shelf, and his attempt to follow brought containers raining down on him. Robin clung by her fingers, a deadly game of endurance beginning, she waiting for him to die, he waiting for her to fall. Down the corridor, Larry emerged from his final battle, throwing his last opponent against the bars with bone-breaking force. Through the strewn carnage, he caught sight of Pete leaving Martha's cell. His pace accelerated, sending Pete into tactical retreat back to the control center.